2 weddings, 5 couples, 1 marriage already being annulled. Not broken up, not separated, annulled. As in, legally erasing the marriage from existence, like it never happened, before the reunion episode even airs. That is Love is Blind Season 10, Ohio, the most dramatic finale this show has produced in years. And tonight, we are breaking down every single altar moment, every yes, every no, every lie that got exposed under those lights, and the one couple that made it through all of it and is sitting on the other side, still choosing each other. You watched the finale. Now let us talk about what actually happened. All of it. Okay, 3 things you are going to find out in this video. Number 1. The full breakdown of every altar moment. What was said, what was not said, what happened the second the cameras stopped rolling. Because there is always a story after the credits that the episode never shows you. Number 2. Jordan and Amber. They said yes. They got married on camera, and they are now reportedly in the process of getting that marriage annulled before they even sit down at the reunion couch on March 11th. I'm going to tell you exactly what sources are saying went wrong and when. Number 3. The one detail about Emma and the children question that the show buried in episode 9 and never came back to. A detail that completely reframes Mike's no at the altar and makes the whole story hit completely differently than it did when you were watching it. Subscribe right now. Reunion is March 11th. Let us get into every single moment of this finale. Let us start at the beginning of wedding day. 5 couples, 1 venue. White Willow Meadows in Orient, Ohio. And by the time the sun went down, 3 of those 5 couples were walking out of that building without a ring that meant anything. Brittany and Devonta never even made it inside. No altar, no vows, no ceremony. They split before they ever got to the venue. And here's what makes this one sting in a specific way. Devonta spent the entire back half of this season saying everything is great, everything is fine. He is ready. He is excited. He loves Brittany. And Brittany, who is one of the sharpest people on this entire cast, was processing every single one of those statements in real time with a face that never quite believed them. She was not a woman who was confused about what she was seeing. She was a woman who was hoping she was wrong. She was not wrong. The split reportedly happened in the final conversation before wedding day, and based on every source covering this season, it was Brittany who made the final call. Not because she stopped caring, but because she cared enough about herself to trust what she had been seeing all season. Devonta has since gone public with a new relationship, and according to Reality Receipts, by the time the reunion tapes, he has an announcement that nobody in that cast is going to be ready for. But we will get to that in a separate video, because that story deserves its own time. Now, Ashley and Alex. They made it to the altar. Ashley in her dress, Alex in his suit. Their entire family's watching. And then Ashley said something that I do not think anyone in that room was expecting her to say before Alex ever opened his mouth. She called him a liar. Not in the gentle, loving, here is what I have been processing way. In the clear, direct, public way. She stood at that altar and she told him and everyone watching exactly what she had seen this whole season. The Cabo conversation with Brittany, the period tracking app, the changing stories about Austin, the father who saw through him in 30 seconds. All of it. Named and stated out loud. Ashley Carpenter walked into this experiment saying she knew she had a bad picker when it came to men. And then she picked Alex. But here's what she also did. She paid attention. She kept receipts. And when it mattered most, in the most public and permanent way possible, she used them. Alex said no. Ashley said no. No wedding. No completed marriage license. And Ashley walked out of that venue with her head held higher than it had been in 11 episodes. That walk out of the venue is the image of this entire season. Now, Mike and Emma. This is the one that I want to spend the most time on, because this altar moment is the most emotionally layered thing Season 10 produced, and it requires the full story to understand. Emma said yes in episode 11. Full vows, full commitment. I love you, I really, really do. And that was a yes. And then Mike said no. But here's the detail that the show buried in episode 9 and never fully returned to. Emma was adopted. She was born with birthmarks that had a high chance of becoming cancerous. She had over 10 surgeries before she was 7 years old to have them removed. And because she was adopted, she has no information about her biological parents' medical history. She does not know what hereditary conditions she might carry, and she was genuinely concerned about passing unknown complications to a biological child. That is not a woman who is casually undecided about motherhood. That is a woman with a specific, deeply personal, medically grounded reason for her uncertainty. And the show introduced this in episode 9 and then largely moved past it. Mike knew this. He heard it. And he proposed anyway, telling himself and the cameras that he would never want Emma to change her mind on motherhood for him, that he believed love was enough. And then, at the altar, he said no. Here is what I believe actually happened in that moment. Mike spent 11 episodes hoping that Emma's yes at the altar would be a signal, that it would mean she had resolved the uncertainty, that if she walked toward him in that dress and said, "I do," it meant she was ready for everything, including the children question. Emma's yes did not resolve the question. It just said, "I love you." And those are two different things, and Mike knew it, and he said no. According to reality receipts, Emma already knew the no was coming before she walked down that aisle. She had been told, or had sensed it clearly enough to prepare for it, and when Mike started to say no, Emma reportedly said, "It is okay. It is a no for me too." She chose to walk in anyway, to say yes anyway, to give that moment one final declaration of what she felt regardless of what was coming. Whether that is brave or heartbreaking or both, I think the answer is it is all three at the same time. And the incomplete marriage license in Columbus, Ohio, closes the chapter. No wedding for Mike and Emma. Now, Jordan and Amber. They said yes, both of them, in front of their families, in front of Amber's daughter Emma, who was in that building watching. Jordan looked at Amber and chose her. Amber looked at Jordan and chose him. The license is real. The wedding happened. And then, according to multiple sources, including a comment confirmed by Storytime with Ricky on her Instagram, Jordan and Amber's marriage is already in the process of being annulled, before the reunion, before the show even airs the finale episode in most time zones. The marriage that happened on camera, the one that was supposed to be the happy ending of this whole chaotic season, is being legally erased, annulled, not divorced, annulled. The difference matters. Divorce ends a marriage. Annulment says the marriage should never have existed in the first place. It is the legal system agreeing that something was fundamentally wrong from the beginning. What was fundamentally wrong? Nobody is saying specifically yet, but the sources who described their post-filming relationship as very tumultuous in ways the show did not air were not being dramatic. Something happened after those cameras stopped rolling. Something significant enough that both Jordan and Amber apparently agreed. This needs to be erased, not just ended. The reunion is March 11th, and Jordan and Amber walking into that room is going to be one of the most charged moments of the entire episode. And then, Vic and Christine. I am going to say this clearly and without drama because it does not need drama. Vic and Christine got married. They are still married, They are still together. Almost 1 year after their wedding day. Every source, every spoiler account, every record search, all pointing in the same direction. The only couple from season 10 still standing, still choosing each other, still married. They were the first couple to get engaged this season. They were sent to Malibu alone because Netflix could not afford to film them in Mexico with everyone else. They filmed significant portions of their relationship on their own phones. They got less screen time than any other couple. They had the least drama of any couple. And they are the only ones still married. There is a lesson in that, and I think deep down, everyone who watched this season already knows what it is. Here is my full hot take, and this is the one I want you to really argue with me about before the reunion. Love is Blind Season 10 ended with 1 real marriage out of 8 engagements. 1. And the marriage that also technically happened, Jordan and Amber, is being annulled before the reunion audience even sits down. So the real number is not 2 weddings, the real number is 1 marriage that lasted. Out of 8 attempts. In Ohio, on Netflix, in 2026. And here's what that number tells me. The pods work. The emotional connection that forms when you strip away appearance and location and social performance and just talk to another human being in the dark, that connection is real. Vic and Christine proved it. Connor and Bree, who walked away from the altar and reportedly found their way back to each other in the real world anyway, proved it in a different direction. What does not work is the transition. Going from the pods to the real world while a camera crew follows you and a production schedule tells you that in 6 weeks you are going to stand in front of your entire family and decide if you want to spend the rest of your life with this person. 6 weeks. From first hello to I do, with the cameras running the whole time. Mike needed 6 more months to know if Emma was truly his person. Ashley needed 6 more days before Alex showed her exactly who he was in Cabo. Jordan needed 6 more months of real step-parenting experience before he could know if he was ready. The experiment gave them 6 weeks and a venue. And only Vic and Christine were somehow built for exactly that. Comment below right now. Are you more devastated about Jordan and Amber's annulment or Mike's no after Emma's yes? And do you think the Love is Blind experiment is fundamentally broken? Or do Vic and Christine prove that it can work for the right 2 people? Drop your take below. I am reading every single one before March 11th. All right, let us close this out. 3 things to take away from the Season 10 finale. 1. 2 weddings happened. 3 altar breakups. Brittany and Devontae never made it to the venue. Ashley called Alex a liar and walked out. Mike said no after Emma said yes, knowing it was coming. 2. Jordan and Amber said yes, got married on camera, and are already in the process of getting that marriage annulled before they sit down at the reunion on March 11th. 1 year in Ohio, and the legal system is already being asked to erase it. 3. Vic and Christine. Married, still together, still the only real ending this season produced, out of 8 engagements. The couple Netflix could not afford to fully film is the only couple still standing. The Love is Blind Season 10 reunion streams on Netflix on March 11th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Reaction video goes up the second it ends. Subscribe and hit that bell right now. March 11th is going to be a lot. I will see you then.